And the other reason why I think that the espionage is real, and them having spies at Ford, and they'd overheard that Ford was doing this and Chevy was doing this, was because it's not the first time. If you look at commercials from 1959 for the 1959 Dodge Custom Royal, they actually stole a car and then brought it to their dealership from, I want to say it was Pontiac. I think it was a Pontiac they stole. Well, they didn't steal it. They poised themselves as a customer and asked to test drive the new 1959 Pontiac. Then they took it to their Dodge dealership and compared the two. And, basically showed off about how much better their design was versus the 1959 Pontiac, which is quite interesting nonetheless. So I guess that's some cool history about the Plymouth there. Oh, and the other thing I want to mention as well about the Canadian Plymouths, they used 1962 Dodge Dart dashes. They didn't even use a 62 Plymouth dash. If I show you the inside here, you'll see. Look at that. That is a factory steering wheel dash setup from a 1962 Dodge. I will show you what a 1962 Plymouth Belvedere dash looks like, and you'll see the difference there. It's quite interesting. So all the lights and stuff work on this rig, surprisingly. Actually, everything works on this rig except for the temperature gauge, which is probably the most annoying thing. I think it's broken, or the sensor's broken. I'm not sure, but the needle's always on. It doesn't even move anymore, where it used to move. When the key is off, it used to go off, and when the key is on, it would sort of figure itself out, and now it's just stuck like this. So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, this car's been a lot of fun. This engine, I think, makes just about 200 horsepower. Like I said, the car is about the same weight as a Chevelle. It's, I think, a little bit heavier, but it's not by much, that's for sure. So, I mean, despite these cars not selling very well, they were very, very popular with drag racers in the early 60s. But other than, if you had a big block Mopar engine in it, lots of support for it. But these early poly engines, which are a little bit different than the LA engines that they made later on, like the LA 318. These Poly 313s and Poly 318s that they made, there is like no speed parts for these things. They just don't make them. Like, even finding a 4-barrel carburetor is basically like an intake, 4-barrel intake manifold and carburetor is just basically damn near impossible. And they don't even recommend it without doing a couple of internal upgrades just to help keep everything running smooth. So, as much as I'd love to modify this and make this a bit more speedy, I don't want to, because just the fact that it's just so original. I mean, as it is, if it was any other old car, I might be more tempted to do so, but she is quite a special rig. I really love this car, and it's quite unique. This is the nicer side. It's because, you don't make as many you don't make a lot of right-hand turns in this town. It's a lot of left-hand turns. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I know, I really do love this car. I'll show you guys it running. It's pretty nice. So yeah, I hope that what I talked about here was somewhat interesting to you guys. Hopefully you guys got a bit of information out of it. But and I also hope that it'll help you identify other vehicles, not just vehicles for, not just this vehicle, but vehicles in general. Like, for example, like I can almost, without a guarantee, almost every time without fail, guess an age of a car, or what year the car is, or at least within the decade, which I think is pretty impressive. But she starts right up there, as you see, and for a V8, she is very quiet, not very noisy at all. The reason why we moved away from the generators, by the way, was because generators don't technically charge at idle; they charge under load. So if you have a generator, it's always constantly only charging when it's under load. So technically, if I left it idling here for a few hours, not that you ever would, but it could technically kill the battery, because the battery isn't getting enough charge. And it's funny that I say this, because if I have the blower motor in this running, which is just heat, and I have my wiper blades going, and I also have my my headlights and high beams on, the wiper, all those things run very slow, like you'll see. I'll show you right now. You'll see here in just a sec. You'll see how the lights are on. I hope I can catch this on camera, and you can see how the headlights are on there. But when I press on the gas pedal here, give it a bit of gas, See how the headlights brighten up? It's because it's actually charging properly to take on the voltage there. So that's kind of interesting, hey? It's really easy to notice when you got the high beams on too. Watch this. It's like it really comes to life. Oh, it's a little bit funny, but yeah. So I try not to leave my lights on if I can help it. And the other interesting thing about this as well is that this car's got no power steering, no power brakes, and even the turn signals are not automatic. So when I clock my wheel and then bring it back, it doesn't turn the turn signal off. So this was an option. You had to pay extra money for automatic turn signals, and doesn't have power windows, no power locks, no power seat. I mean, as far as everything goes, the guy who paid for this paid for front seat belts, 1-speed wipers, cigarette lighters, ashtray, AM radio, which it has. And by the way, the AM radio does work. How cool is that? Hold on, let's see if we can tune into something here. Something.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with...
I don't know what I was listening to there, but I hope that wasn't Trump, because if that was, that'd be insane. Oh my god. So yeah, so it's pretty bare bones overall. The guy who paid for this originally, I think it was like $10 for seat belts. I don't know. You got the V8 in this. Most of these had the leaning tower power, which is the slant 6, which is, 6 cylinders versus 8. So, and also paid for an automatic transmission. Like I said, the 1-speed wipers, the mirror here, which I believe is factory because of this little trim piece here. And as well, it was optioned with reverse lights. Reverse lights were optional in those days as well. You can also discern how old the vehicle is by what year they made reverse lights mandatory, although I wish I could tell you what year that was, but I would also want to say probably later 60s. But yeah, like I said, a lot of the safety stuff was not, not necessarily the top of the list in the early 60s. It was just, if you wanted it, you had to pay extra money. This one also had the 4 hubcaps. I'm not sure if you had to pay extra for hubcaps or not. I'm not missing one. It's in the car. It just keeps falling off. I've got to bend the tabs out to get her going there. But yeah, like I said, overall, she's a nice rig. Nothing crazy. Like I said, the V8 doesn't even have a 4-barrel carburetor. I think it's a 2-barrel, or it even could be just a 1-barrel. I haven't really figured it out yet. Could be. I think it's just a 1-barrel, but I haven't looked too closely at the carburetor. I want to rebuild it, so I'm just kind of leaving it because, it runs fine as it is. Why rebuild something that ain't broke, So yeah, and like I said, the Belvedere trim, that's pretty much it. Because basically in '62 for this year, you had the Savoy, the Plymouth Savoy, the Plymouth Belvedere, and the Plymouth Fury. And the Belvedere was pretty popular, middle of the road. Furies were expensive, and the Savoys, I don't think I've ever seen a Savoy. I feel like they're quite uncommon, because they did this weird thing in the basically copying the Impalas in '62. You had the 3 tail lamps, so for trim levels. So Savoy, if it was a Savoy, you wouldn't even have reverses. It would just be this. And then the Belvederes, which is what this is, you'd have reverse lights, or sometimes on occasion you would have just 2 brake lights. I'm not sure what the reason for that was. I've read, from what I read online, it was cop only that had the 2 brakes and no reverses, but I don't know how true that is. And then, like I said, if you had the Fury option, you would have the 3 on each side there. So you can see there's this little space here available for that 3rd light there, and I'll show a picture of that on screen here of the 3 different types: Savoy, Belvedere, and of course the Fury. But yeah, like I said, interesting car. This stripe here would have only been seen on Dodges, as I was saying earlier. So this is pretty interesting. The original color combination for this car would have been a Dodge paint job. It would have been white, which is what the original color is showing through this gray here, and this black stripe would have been originally red. So that's what it would have been originally from the factory. She would have been quite a handsome car. She would have been quite the handsome car. But I got to deal with the rust. So, I guess if you guys want to, I've got my PayPal linked. I'm saving up to get body work done on this thing, but you guys can watch that process if you want, and you guys can be a part of it if you want to donate. You don't have to, though, of course. I mean, I'll figure it out no matter what. I want to get her done, but I really want to bring this thing back to its original glory, just because there is so little information on how many of these were built in Canada. I want to say probably less than 5,000, because their sales year was so poor for Plymouth that, like I said, Virgil, who designed all the cars in '62, was fired. So, like I said, it's just an interesting thing there. So, yeah, that's basically the little story. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, sorry for rambling on, I guess. You have a good rest of your day, and drive safe, I guess.